Alright, what's going on, guys? It is your boy TKD123 here, back again here on PlayStation Source. And of course, if you guys been playing Destruction AllStars, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna keep it 100% honest. I'm actually really enjoying the game the more I play it. So I did want to give you guys some beginners tips if you guys are new to the game, or you're confused about some things, or just want some clarification on some things. I gathered some tips that I want to bring you all if you are new to the game on PS5. So without further ado, let's get this started. So first up here, the big tip I have is to understand and learn and read up on your abilities, these being of course your vehicle breaker, your on foot breaker, your directional boost, and your barge ability as well. Now all of these I will be going over in more in depth in later videos in the week, where I'll be doing kind of guides and breakdowns of all the different characters here in Destruction AllStars. I'll be going over the best and the worst and all their abilities and all that. But to start off with, let's start by defining these different abilities and what they'll usually entail. So the vehicle breaker essentially is your ultimate, right? It's the ultimate that happens when you're in your vehicle that can be enabled once you fill a bar. It can be a multitude of different abilities like box tops box mobile breaker, where when you hit someone they'll launch over different boxes that do area of effect chip damage to them. Or you could do ship's cipher breaker, which ship's cipher breaker is going to be where he goes invisible and gets removed from the radar as well when he pops that ultimate. So they're just ultimates for your vehicle, think about it like that, okay? Next up, you have the foot breaker. Now foot breaker are abilities that give you the edge while on foot. These also require a little bit of a bar to fill, but they're usually area of effect attacks that happen automatically or by using barge, which we will talk about next up here. But the foot breaker also enables you to be in hero mode, that gives you a speed boost and a double jump as well, which we will talk about later on in the video on how to best utilize that hero mode. But lastly here, you do have this ability called barge when you're on foot. Honestly, I guess this is your melee, but it's really bad. Like it's really bad. I don't know what the point of it is, to be honest. Like, I've used it a few times. It's been helpful a few times, but not really. Honestly, a barge is only useful when you're in front of another person and then you can barge them. You can't barge cars, obviously, because that'd be kind of crazy. But you know, just kind of forget barge exists, even though we will have another way to use barge later on. But definitely with this tip, you're going to want to go through every single person's abilities, their ultimates, and all the good stuff, and just see what, you know, best fits you and learn them as well in practice mode, which is our second tip here. Definitely go into that practice mode, go into arcade mode, and really learn these different abilities, learn these different foot breakers, really kind of just get in tune with the game. Because honestly, Destruction AllStars looks like a pick up and play game, but it kind of isn't when you really get into the nitty gritty of it and really learn all the abilities. It's really not that pick up and play-esque. So definitely spending time in practice mode, spending time in the arcade, playing different challenge series as well, which right now Ultimos is free right now if you have the game downloaded, but Lupitas does cost 200 destruction coins, which you can spend $5 to get 500 destruction points. So that's a little bit of a thing right there that you may have to do if you want to play this specific challenge series for Lupita. But overall, I would say go into practice mode, go into arcade mode, really read up on your characters' breakers and their abilities, and learn how to use them in a given match, in a given mode. It'll really help you a lot once you get into online matches, and it definitely helped me a lot for sure. Like, it definitely helped me a lot to just go in, really understand, really get a feel for how the cars move, and you'll be successful online. Now, although Destruction AllStars is a vehicle combat game, there is some on foot play here in the game, and I would say use it wisely. Look, you don't want to be on foot in this game in a given match. You definitely want to be in a vehicle, and there are ways that you can use your on foot breaker to be able to get your hero vehicle or into another vehicle, or just shards to power up your different abilities really quickly. That is of course by popping your on foot breaker breaker when you're on foot, and then honestly utilizing hero mode, which will allow you to run faster and double jump to be able to get those different shards to build up your hero vehicle, and definitely doing parkour to be able to do that and all that great stuff, right? And it doesn't take as many shards as you'd think to get your hero vehicle as well, so it's a very quick process. I would say honestly, rather than you hunting different people on foot and trying to barge them, which is honestly next to really pointless, like it's really pointless to do that, I would recommend just when you're on foot, pop your breaker, use that hero mode to be able to move really quickly and get those shards to get you back into the action with your hero vehicle, which is a way better vehicle than any vehicle that will be spawning in the map anyway. So I would recommend definitely utilizing that. That is honestly all I really do, you know, when I'm on foot. Really, it's just I just build up my bars to be able to call in my hero vehicle quickly, and I definitely recommend that might be the best way for you, because that's the best way I have found on foot play to be even feasible for me in a given match. Now another thing I'm still learning as well throughout the game is that, you know, on foot gameplay, I was saying in a few videos last week when the game first came out that I wasn't really feeling the on foot gameplay. I didn't like it that much. It felt really floaty, but honestly I really spent a lot of time in practice in arcade mode and learned the art of vaulting, right? And specifically, you know, vaulting is very useful. Of course, you just hold O when you're at a ledge and you'll do a nice little cool animation where you just go over it really quickly. However, vault jumping saved my life for on foot gameplay. Okay, this will give you a healthy increase in jump height even when you don't have a foot breaker and don't have hero mode. So you can just do this when you don't have foot breaker or hero mode, and you will get to a much higher distance when you are jumping with the vault jump. So how you do it is you just hold O, and while you're in that animation, press X to jump up, and you'll do a super jump that is very useful. I highly recommend it, guys. Definitely use this ability, because have you guys been in a match where you'll see a car but it's at a height that you can't reach quite yet because you're not in hero mode or different things like that? All you gotta do is do that vault jump nearby. It's a great way to get up there. Very useful. Highly recommend it. Now let's talk about when you actually are in a vehicle. Maybe you're in your hero vehicle or you're in one of the regular sedan or hatchbacks or SUVs. To be able to work towards your hero vehicle and abilities, you gotta learn how to drive these homies, okay? Because you gotta learn how to properly drift, you gotta learn how to properly take corners, you gotta learn how to most importantly evade as well, because of course the hatchbacks and the sedans are a lot easier to drift with as opposed to the bigger SUVs, but the SUVs pack a way bigger punch when it comes to hitting those other cars. And so you got to really learn how all these cars play with each other, how they all are different from each other, and which advantages and disadvantages they all have in the whole counterplay meta with all the cars in a given match, right? And it's all about knowing the correct play style to use when you're in a specific vehicle. If you're in a SUV, maybe don't prioritize trying to drift and taking tight corners, you know what I'm saying? Because you're just a really big thing that is going to slow you down anyway. And maybe if you're in a sedan or a hatchback, maybe you don't want to, you know, bum rush and try to hit a big truck, because if they are going faster than you, they will get that hit and they will, you know, hit you really bad. So, you know, just know exactly what car you're in, know what their strength and weaknesses is, and definitely play to the strengths and weaknesses of the vehicle that you're in. But what you can also do as well is that you do have these different directional boosts when you're in a vehicle, right? So this can be a forward, a left, or a right boost. Now what you're supposed to be doing for this is that you are supposed to be able to hit people very easily, which they are very good at, you know what I'm saying? Like you can do a forward boost, left or right boost if someone's to the left or right of you, vice versa. However, what you can also utilize these for is for dodging and maneuvering around things that can hit you in one hit, right? So maybe you're chilling in a match, you see Blue Fang Shredder, okay? That Shredder will shred you in one hit and kill you in one hit. Okay, the same thing with Hana's Saber as well. Those are one hit abilities that if they hit you head on, they will annihilate you, right? So what you want to do is you could use that boost to quickly evade to the left or to the right to be able to avoid those things as well. So it's not only for hitting, but you could use those for dodging as well. Now the last big tip here I have for you guys is take some time in the settings menu. Yes, the PS5 has great ways to manually change the buttons of what they do on the system itself in the settings menu for the PS5, but Destruction AllStars has a healthy amount of different settings in the game as well, from being able to switch around those control schemes, audio mixes, colorblind settings, dead zone toggles where you can make the dead zones more or less sensitive, and plenty more settings to do as well. But my favorite is tweaking that HUD, where I made the minimap bigger. You can also make the little different cars on the radar on the map bigger or smaller. You can change different things, like maybe you don't want to see the kill feed, you can remove that. You can do a lot of different things in this game that honestly I was pretty surprised with, and it really did help out in a lot of different ways, where I made some indicators on my HUD a little bit bigger, and especially that minimap is bigger as well, because I hate where the minimap is right now. I was hoping that you could move those HUD elements, but it's all good. I made it bigger. It's been working out for me personally, and I definitely feel that the settings are worth spending a lot of time in, just getting your settings to where you want it to be for Destruction AllStars. And that has been some beginner tips for Destruction AllStars. Definitely keep it locked here on the channel though. I will be going over all of the different characters that you can use in Destruction AllStars. I'm thinking about also doing my best Destruction All-Star characters, ones that I think are really good, and the worst ones as well. Thinking about doing that as well. But if you did use these tips, or you are going to take some of these tips, or if you learned something new, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Down below, of course, you can also find links to our Discord, our Twitter, and our Anchor link. That way you can listen to our long form content and podcast format. Those of course being Road 2 series and of course Save Slot podcast as well. Like the video if you enjoyed it, as well as subscribe to PlayStation Source to keep up with the latest and greatest in PlayStation. Thank you all for watching, and as always, greatness awaits.